Welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we are unlocking top-tier AI communication. Look, if you've ever felt like your AI outputs are just kind of underwhelming, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're diving into the source material to explore two bizarrely named yet highly effective frameworks that will literally transform the way you interact with large language models. And yes, we're going to be talking about Tiny Crabs and Ramen. Trust me, it'll all make sense in just a second.
Okay, let's dive into this. Our source material makes this really profound claim. Prompting is the single highest return on investment skill that you can possibly learn. The highest. Think about it. We live in an era where everybody has access to the exact same, incredibly powerful AI models. But without good prompting, even the most advanced tools out there are essentially useless. If you can't communicate with it effectively, you're basically driving a Ferrari in first gear.
Just so we're all starting on the exact same page, prompting is essentially the process of providing specific instructions to a generative AI tool to receive new information or, achieve a desired outcome. Think of it as the steering wheel and pedals for the AI engine. It is the absolute foundational skill you need before you can do anything more advanced, like building autonomous agents or writing complex code.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. The prompting problem. 2. The Tiny Crabs framework. 3. Before and after results. 4. Fixing common prompt mistakes. And finally, number 5, the Ramen Saves framework.
Section 1. The prompting problem.
All right, take a look at a basic prompt like, create an IG post marketing my new octopus merch line. This is exactly what the typical user just dumps into an AI chatbot. It's super brief, it's incredibly vague, and honestly, the results you get are going to be just okay. You'll probably get a highly generic caption with a couple of random emojis. The AI doesn't know who you are, who you're talking to, or what your brand actually sounds like. This generic input leading to generic output is the core problem we're fixing today.
Which brings us to Section 2. The Tiny Crabs framework.
Okay, the full mnemonic from our source is Tiny Crabs Ride Enormous Iguanas. I know it's strange, but there is no way you're forgetting it. It stands for task, context, resources, evaluate, and iterate. When you're crafting a perfect prompt, you first define the task. What exactly do you want the AI to do? Then you give it context, which is huge, and we'll expand on that in a second. Next, provide resources or references. Then generate it and evaluate the output. Do you like it? And finally, iterate. You work alongside the AI, tweaking it until it's flawless.
So the real magic happens in step 2, context. Instead of just asking for a post, you apply a context upgrade. You assign a persona. Tell the AI to act as an expert IG influencer. Give it background. The company is Lonely Octopus. The mascot is Inky. Define the audience, professionals aged 20 to 40. And you dictate a specific format. Start with a fun fact and end with exactly 3 hashtags. Adding these specific constraints completely transforms the depth of the AI's understanding.
Section 3. Before and after results. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about here. Compare our original, kind of word vomit basic prompt with our highly structured Tiny Crabs prompt. The difference in input quality is just immense. With the framework, we've packed it with domain knowledge, really clear guidelines, and highly targeted instructions. The AI doesn't have to guess what you want anymore. You've handed it a perfect blueprint to execute.
According to the source material, simply remembering and applying this Tiny Crabs framework automatically makes you better at prompting than 88% of people. And hey, the source jokingly points out 88 is a lucky Chinese number. But you know us, as focused learners, we don't want to stop at 88%. We want to push even further to reach that absolute top tier.
Section 4. Fixing common prompt mistakes.
Sometimes, even with a great framework, the AI just doesn't vibe with the request. Our source identifies the absolute biggest roadblocks people hit when the AI gets confused. You've got word vomiting, just dumping a massive unstructured paragraph onto the bot. Then there's providing conflicting information that totally contradicts itself. Another huge mistake is asking for the wrong analogous task. And finally, suffering from a complete lack of specific constraints. These are the ailments that cause those really poor AI outputs.
Section 5. The Ramen Saves framework. All right, time for our next mnemonic. Ramen Saves Tragic Idiots. Interestingly, our source notes the underlying concepts for this actually originate straight from Google's own prompting courses. It stands for Revisit, Separate, Try Phrasing, and Introduce Constraints. This is your ultimate diagnostic toolkit. If your Tiny Crabs prompt fails, you revisit it to see what you can add or remove. Then you apply the next 3 steps, which we're going to break down right now.
Let's look at the separate fix. The source makes such a great point here. Talking to an AI is surprisingly similar to talking to a human. If you just word vomit a massive paragraph at someone, their eyes glaze over and they get confused. The fix? Separate your information into short, clear, distinct sentences. It instantly clears up the AI's confusion and helps it process the instructions step by step.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the try-phrasing fix. If the AI is giving you something totally flat, you need to change the analogous task. For example, help me write a speech might give you super boring results. But, actually, scratch that. Think about what makes a good speech. It's a compelling narrative. So shifting the prompt to help me write a powerful story completely changes the lens through which the AI tackles the problem. It massively upgrades the output quality.
We all literally know this feeling, right? An AI without constraints is exactly like that annoying friend who says they want anything for lunch. You suggest pizza? Nah. Tacos? No. It's not helpful. When you give the AI absolutely no boundaries, it just wanders aimlessly and rarely gives you what you actually want.
And that brings us to the final fix. Introduce constraints. Asking an AI to make a Texas road trip playlist is total anything for lunch energy. It's way too broad. But watch this. Watch how we introduce boundaries. Make a Texas road trip playlist featuring only country music in the summertime. Boom. Showcasing this specific constraint instantly dials in the exact vibe and utility you want. You are forcing it down a highly specific, creative path.
By stacking these methods, you reach the top tier. When you take the Tiny Crab's baseline structure and pair it with the diagnostic troubleshooting of the Ramen Saves framework, our source notes that you elevate your prompting skills above 98% of the population. You're no longer just chatting with a bot. You're effectively programming a highly advanced tool.
So, I want to leave you with this provocative thought on our final slide. Now that you're equipped with these Google-originated frameworks, and you can communicate better than 98% of people out there, what will your AI build for you today? The bottleneck is literally no longer the technology. It's your imagination. Get out there, structure your context, set your constraints, and create something absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I can't wait to see what you build.